Hello guys, welcome back to Let's Go Far Together. Today I'm going to try to make this video in a way that I'm not on the way and hopefully you can see what we're talking about better. I'm going to try to, in as much as I can, not to get on the way of the board. We're going to talk about the attacking patterns with the 4-3-3 here in yellow. For the back, 3 midfielders, 3, obviously the goalie, against the 1-4-2-3-1 that we mostly play against, because most teams play with 2 defensive midfielders. We tried that during our season, and every time we have 2, it seems like we get confused about who's supposed to be on the zone. Since we changed this, we have only conceded, I believe, 1 goal from zone 14, right at the top of the box, when our 6 got dragged to one side to protect his defender, and none of these guys picked up that space. But today we're not going to talk about defensive mistakes we have made. We're going to try to focus on what we need to do when we are attacking. I need you guys to understand that in order to go forward, sometimes you need to go back. You need to, if you are this player right here, you're a striker, and you have 2 DMs trying to pressure you, okay? Well, these guys are up, and you got your wingers over here supporting. Your 6 goes up, and then the back line goes up too to support. If you are the guy here with the ball, obviously it's really hard to turn right here. I want us to drop the ball to one of the cams that are coming on those half spaces. Remember the half spaces? This board doesn't really help illustrate that correctly, but as you know, if you're a coach or if you're a player, that actual 18-yard box comes almost all the way to the corner area. So your half spaces are actually much bigger than what you see right here in proportion to the actual field, regardless of what age group you are playing. Now, as you can see, this is 11v11 because that's what we're working on right now. If you want me to make some other videos about other formations or other lineups, or whether it's 7v7, 6v6, 8v8, whatever it is that you play in your league, please let me know what kind of content you would want me to put up here so I can help you in whatever you're struggling with. Now, with that being said, what I want to see is I want to see you as a striker holding the ball strong, and I want to see the cams come into these positions rather than sitting deep like this, expecting you to turn when you may have even 3 players on you. So what I want to see is this pass being made here to one of our cams, and then making the pass towards the corner. So from here you shoot towards the corners so we can attack it in behind, and at that point we are right over here. That is when we are up on the opponent's part of the field. But we have dealt with the build-up before many times, but I go through it briefly one more time. Center backs need to be deep so that we can protect. One of the DMs goes here, one of the cams goes there, and we have this guy here to help control everything on the midfield, so we have superiority in numbers, because more than likely this is how we will be pressed. We'll be pressed with 3. It's very rare that you're going to see this where they press with 4 players like that. More than likely it will be 3, and the midfielders will sit here. To the striker, I get tired of repeating myself, but you want to have them play as high as the defensive will allow them. If the defense stays back here, and if you push a little and then they come back with you, then do that. If they come all the way to the half, knowing that you're going to be offside, if they are very disciplined, then come all the way to the half and just make sure you are on sides. This has come about here simply to keep about 10 yards into our own half, to keep these guys from doing this on us. Because if we go too close to our fullbacks, then remember what I told you, if it's 2 people like this, it's only one person. But if it's separate, then it's two people and it's harder to mark. So stay up higher so you're not being marked with just one person. And this way you'll keep at least, at the very least, because even if they have two DMs, one of them might go up to press. At the very least, you give us an advantage over here during the build up, because you will keep these guys occupied, and more than likely these guys are not all going to go forward. This guy's going to be here to support in case things go wrong, so they cannot be defeated centrally, while one of the cams goes up to attack, and they look more like a 4-3-3 when they are pressing. With that being said, we want to have options in here. So the moment the ball is played to one of the center backs, we make movements. We either drop in to receive the ball. Does that make sense? This one moves in, because that way if it goes south, as this guy comes inside, so he can help recycle the ball. If we need to go this way, then he can just go to the 6, then this guy drops, and then we can try to move it this way. We all, the moment we don't have the ball, we all have movement. So from here, if it goes to the defensive center back, this guy drops in here. From this side, drops in here to help as this guy moves closely to support. And again, in case we lose the ball, then right away we have 3 defensive players ready to react. Okay, but from here, with this 8, the cam moving up, more than likely you're going to be pressed at an angle, whether it is to cover the pass on this guy or to cover the pass to this guy. Which is why we want these guys to move around so they can pull a marker with them instead of staying still and making it easier for the other team to cover us. So if it's marking this pass, then you go this way. And remember the third main concept. This is 1 guy, this is 2, this is 3. So if we want to pass to this guy, if we cannot get the ball to him because there is a player being defensive on that zone and covering that pass, then we go to the winger, to our left back, so we can come back to our cam. And then from our cam, hopefully he can take that space and then send the ball in behind so we can run in with numbers. Because in the worst case scenario, we'll be running with a 4 against 3, and we should be able to beat this with just making cutting passes in between the lines. Remember, the passes, they are not square passes, and they are not passes behind. Not when we are attacking, not when we being vertical. We want to try to get out of our box. I don't want to make 20 passes in our 18-yard box or in our defensive zone right here. That's useless to us because we don't win by making passes. We win by making smart passes to get us out. So how many was that? That was 1. That was 2. The one we made here was 3. And then that one's 4. And if we make a pass in the space, it's 5. And then onto a shot. That's how easy it is to do. And you don't even, if you notice, we're not even talking about making 40-yard passes. We're talking about 5 to 10, 15-yard passes. Like this one would be probably a 15-yard pass. Into the space. This pass right here, a penetrating pass, it's because you go in between the defenders. In the same way that when this guy was over here, pinned by the fullback, and the striker is holding the center backs, or occupying the center backs, when the ball comes, it doesn't come to him, so he has to worry about turning and trying to beat this defender. The ball comes into the space, so then he can just worry about trying to outrun the defender and going on that sense, going towards goal. Now, as this happens, I want this guy to try to make a run this way, lateral, make a lateral run so you stay on sides. And then, like I said, that pass is into the space so the striker can go in behind and get that. Now, let me clean this up a little bit. During the second phase of attack, when we actually have possession, if we have breaking their, if this pass was not on and we couldn't do this, by now our lines should be pushing up. And we have 2 cams for a reason. We have 2 cams so that we can create more. And our fullbacks can go up because we have 3 guys at the back defending no matter what, because this 6 is always going to stay within 5, I would say 5 to 10 yards in front of this line of the back 2. And the back 2, a good reference point is this arc right here, this circle right here, and this arc right here. If you want to look at the spaces you should be lined up with, that should be the space yours should be lined up with, so you don't get too far apart from each other to where, like if this guy goes to defend over here, and that leaves a big space for this guy to attack into, where we can just get a ball in behind or get a ball even to him right here, as long as it's in front of him again, so he doesn't have to worry about slowing down to turn the 4, and he can just run into the space. So to avoid getting cut open, which is what we're trying to do to the opposition, that's how this game works. You try to hit and not get hit. And when you get hit, try not to let it hurt. But anyways, as you're coming with the ball here, and these guys drop back in to their shape, okay? From this shape right here, we should be able to, if we have too much pressure here, drop to the 6 and circle it, okay? When we drop to the 6, then the 10 gets wide, and that ball goes there. And this is what I want to see from you guys. Well, this is what you should coach your players, if you're a coach, to do. Have the winger go wide. Again, this is assuming you're working with youth levels where, you know, making a 30, 40-yard pass is a struggle, especially with precision. So from here, again, I want to see you go wide here, and I want to see this guy wide, okay? When the ball comes to you here, by then, we should have the cam coming to this position. And I want this guy to show to the ball too, to drag the defenders, okay? Meanwhile, the 7 stays wide. Why? Because if we go narrow, then we're limiting ourselves to space. If we stay wide, we have the space, because even if this guy doesn't move and this one does, then we make this pass and we can turn him behind, or we make this pass, we can drop back, and then at that point we can attack the spaces, and we can make passes here, we can make passes here, and we can make passes here. Again, those passes are not to the feet right here, because then we're slowing ourselves down. The passes are into the space. I really hope that's clear and we can actually see this and how it works on the way that we support the play. And by moving ourselves towards these areas, we create the spaces, because even if the defenders don't go with us, even if this guy comes here, then we can go again. Drop back to the 6, which is why the 6 is here, and then go to the 2. When this guy comes, this guy shifts over, and now we have the option to recycle again. We can either go here, and then again, drop back. From here, drop back, and then you have the same options again, right here. You may not have this option if, again, the 30-yard pass is a struggle. Don't worry about it. If you don't have that pass, or if you don't have the capacity to make that, you still have 2 very valuable options. If this guy steps, which more than likely he will, then we have a very clear option to just clearly put a ball right here and allow striker to go and collect and go and goal. That is exactly what I want to start seeing from you guys. I don't want to start seeing, I call it bottleneck, where, and you should try to avoid this as a coach, where a player just picks up the ball here in the midfield and tries to go, and then gets picked up by the 8, then the cam comes and help, and then all of a sudden, you got this guys. Yes, you have a lot of space here when you started with possession, but eventually, you come to, again, the term bottleneck, where you're going to get stuck and you're not going to get anywhere. So avoid that. Drop the ball back to go forward. And make movements. We do these drills in training so that we get better at this. If you are interested on the drills that we do in training to get better at passing, please leave a comment and I'll let you know, because I understand as a coach it's one thing to show you what the players are supposed to be doing, and it's another thing to actually be able to show you how you get them to be able to do this. But to my players, especially those I'm coaching, and as a coach, encourage your players to drop the ball, to not be afraid, don't hide from the ball. Everybody that plays this game should want to play because they want to have the ball. Everybody that plays this game should want to be part of it because they want to be able to kick the ball and just be part of the game, rather than just be the guy that it gets dropped here and from here we're just going to boot it as far as we can and just hope that somebody gets into it, so that somebody gets on that ball. That we can talk in another video, but it's called winning the second ball. But we can make another video about that if there's something that you're interested on, especially if you're a team that struggles to make passes or create possession, or even, you know, just make string 2 or 3 passes together. Then, especially if you have size on your team, then winning those second balls will be something that is beneficial to you. But without further ado, without any more to say, I shouldn't have said further ado, I'm sorry about that. That was a misspoken. This was that how to attack on the 4-3-3 and how to drop the ball back and use the cams and especially the DM so that we can circulate the ball, recycle, and go forward all the way from build up to attacking. I hope you guys enjoy it. Give it a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Thank you guys.